Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Woods, Managing Director of Linwoods Health Foods. We're thrilled to have you with us this morning for an informative session on micro habits for hormonal health. At Linwoods, we believe that lasting health comes from the small, positive changes we make every day. This month, we're focusing on supporting women's hormonal well-being. We've created a wealth of resources, tools, tips, and expert advice to help you navigate this crucial aspect of your health. For even more great content, visit our website and our wellness hub at linwoodshealthfoods.com and follow us on social media. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Cara Shaw, a registered women's health nutritional therapist and nutrigenomics practitioner. Cara is passionate about empowering women to feel their best, especially those facing PCOS, infertility, and hormonal imbalances. Cara, with her extensive experience, will share practical strategies and actionable steps you can easily integrate into your daily routine for significant improvements in your hormonal health. Welcome, Cara. Thank you for joining us, and it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Now, before we dive in, I'd like to introduce Cara a little better to our listeners. Cara is a registered women's health nutritional therapist and nutrigenomics practitioner with a special interest in PCOS, infertility, and hormonal imbalances. Her company, CRS Nutrition, specializes in supporting women via one-to-one nutritional therapy sessions, along with genetic testing. Cara's expertise in nutritional therapy is all about uncovering the root cause of issues and diving deep into the why in order to support an individual via both nutritional and lifestyle recommendations. Nutrigenomics is a perfect adjunct to nutritional therapy, offering personalized nutritional recommendations based on an individual's genetic blueprint that identifies nutrient needs and lifestyle changes to optimize health and reach desired goals. Cara's journey into nutritional therapy was inspired by her own fertility challenges and dealing with both PCOS and endometriosis. She saw firsthand how impactful nutritional and lifestyle changes were to her own life and has now made it her mission to help educate and empower others. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on how micro changes can support hormonal health. So Cara, over to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. Let's dive into micro habits to support female hormones. I'm so excited to share with you how easy and simple it can be. So, women are fundamentally different from men. Whilst men have one predominant hormone being testosterone, women have a whole team of hormones that collaborate in order to keep the body running smoothly. Female hormones are like an intricate symphony and they vary across a cycle. Each hormone takes a turn to be a starring role in your cycle, and because of those differences, we can see cognition changes, playfulness changes, and mental and physical well-being changes vary within a phase of a cycle. The role that each hormone plays and changes over a female lifetime, with increased amounts during puberty and then eventually decreasing in perimenopausal years. Now, there are many common hormonal conditions that I'm sure you will have heard of, including PMS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, over and underactive thyroid, fibroids, PMDD, endometriosis, and adenomyosis. Approximately 50% of women of reproductive age worldwide suffer from PMS. PCOS affects 8 to 13% of women of reproductive age worldwide, and endometriosis affects roughly 10% of women and girls globally. That is a whopping 190 million women. These conditions can be associated with severe and debilitating symptoms that can disrupt day-to-day activities. Now, there are many factors that can affect our hormones, things like lifestyle factors, dietary choices, alcohol intake, lack of certain nutrients, restrictive diets, so low carb, low calorie, low fat. Stress has a big role to play, so emotional stress, physical, so over-exercising, even illnesses, psychological stress, including traumatic experiences, academic pressure, or even perfectionism and the unrealistic expectations and pressures that one can put on themselves. Sleep has a big role to play, poor sleep quality or even disruptions to sleep, whether it be from going to bed too late or even from shift work. Environmental factors have a role to play. Things like endocrine disrupting chemicals that are substances that can interfere with the body's delicate hormonal system. These can essentially mimic, block, or interfere with our hormones. They can disrupt the production, transport, and also the elimination of hormones. So things like BPA found in plastic bottles, phthalates found in personal care products, and even pesticides found in food. Weight has a role to play, so either too much body fat or too little. And finally, life stage can have a big effect on hormones, so puberty, pregnancy, perimenopause, and postmenopause. There are so many factors that understanding where to start can feel totally overwhelming, and that's why I want to introduce you to the concept of micro habits. So, what is a micro habit? It is a behavior or action that is small, it's simple, it's manageable, it's easily achievable, and it requires minimal effort. That over time becomes part of your everyday life. The more you do them, so consistency, and the more you succeed in these small achievements, the more motivated you become to do more. Let's take an example of reading books. So if you want to read more books this year, great goal. Let's turn it into a micro habit of reading 1 page per day. That 1 page per day is easy, it's simple, it requires minimal effort, and the more you achieve this and it becomes part of your everyday routine, that 1 page can turn into 10, then to 20, 2 chapters, and so on to help you reach your goal of reading more. So let's dive into how we can support hormones using these micro habits. Now, I know it might seem basic, but these are going to be the foundations to health. So micro habit number 1 is start your day with hydration. You can either keep a glass of water on your bedside table or do what I do, get a good quality thermos flask and fill it with herbal tea the night before you go to bed and wake up with a perfect temperature tea first thing out of bed. And why is water so important? It literally transports our hormones and nutrients needed to support our hormones around the body. It's involved in cellular health, so cell-to-cell communication and cell integrity. It helps our kidneys filter waste from the body. It's vital for maintaining blood volume and circulation, and it is crucial for supporting digestion. Dehydration can contribute to sluggish bowels and constipation. But why is this relevant to our hormones? Well, a lack of bowel movements means that hormones are not being efficiently eliminated from the body. This can then lead to the reabsorption of hormones in the intestines, like estrogen, which can impact hormonal balance. Instead of focusing on, I have to drink X amount of liters per day, because to be honest, it can totally vary depending on your activity level, just focus on ensuring that you hydrate with a glass of water or a mug of herbal tea first thing. Don't underestimate the basics. Drinking water might seem irrelevant, but it's one of the foundations you need to support your body. Okay, moving on to micro habit number 2, enjoy a balanced breakfast. Now, this is my favorite, and it can literally be 1 breakfast a week to start off. I know it can seem overwhelming if you're used to things like sugary cereals or croissants every day. Just focus on 1 day a week, make it as easy as possible for yourself so that you get that momentum to keep going. Instead of opting for just carbohydrate sources like croissants, sugary cereals, shop-bought breakfast bars, this micro habit is focused on a balanced breakfast. And what do I mean by balance? I mean taking carbohydrate sources and adding protein, adding fats, and adding fiber. As an example, on the screen, we have a picture of some toast with some avocado, some egg, and some seeds. And in another, we've got overnight oats with chia seeds and yogurt. These are the kind of breakfasts that do not need to take you hours to prepare. You can prep all of these things in advance. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. Now, how do we build a balanced breakfast? Imagine you have a recipe card that you're working from. You take your carbohydrates, you add some protein, some fiber, some healthy fats, and you combine these together to make a balanced plate or bowl. Carbohydrate sources might include oats. They might be tropical fruit like mango or bananas. It might be toast. Protein sources might be yogurt, hemp seeds, eggs. Healthy fats can be nuts and seeds or olive oil, perhaps some coconut yogurt. Fiber could be vegetables, grated apple, berries, or perhaps something like flaxseed, which is both a source of fiber and healthy fats. Balancing your breakfast helps to regulate blood sugar, which has a knock-on effect on our hormones. A balanced meal will provide steady and sustained release of energy and will promote satiety, keeping you going for longer. So instead of feeling overwhelmed, think about elevating what you are eating. So elevating your meal by adding additional components. So to toast, add eggs, add avocado, add some seeds to create a balanced plate. What you eat for breakfast can have a huge impact on your hormones and how you feel both physically and mentally. Jam on toast, this will likely provide a quick burst of energy, followed by a slump and an energy dip, maybe some brain fog, and perhaps you feel hungry not long after. Avocado and eggs on toast is likely to leave your blood sugar balanced and you feeling good, feeling energized, feeling productive and mentally sharp. Balancing your breakfast makes a huge difference to your blood sugar throughout the day. And once you aim to balance your breakfast and you do this consistently, you can then think about moving on to lunch and dinner. Moving on to micro habit number 3. Again, this sounds so simple, but is so powerful. Spend 5 to 10 minutes a day outdoors to get natural light. Daylight exposure, specifically exposure to natural sunlight, can positively impact female hormones and overall health through various mechanisms. You can literally enjoy your morning cuppa outside. Maybe you eat your breakfast outside if it's nice, or just go for a quick walk. And why is daylight exposure, first thing, so important? It helps regulate our circadian rhythm, known as our body clock, and it helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle. This in turn helps to regulate hormones. It increases our energy, it improves sleep quality, and it supports stress levels and improves our mood. Sunlight exposure helps stimulate the production of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that contributes to feelings of well-being. And very excitingly, between now and October, you can get vitamin D from the sun. Exposure to sunlight triggers the synthesis of vitamin D in the skin, which helps regulate estrogen and progesterone. So any excuse to get outside. Now, micro habit number 4. This is all about diversifying your food in order to support your microbiome. So I'm suggesting you purchase 1 to 2 new foods weekly that you would not normally buy. And this can be via purchasing different fruits and vegetables, different nuts and seeds, different grains, different beans or legumes, herbs or spices. Do not overwhelm yourself here. You can literally just buy, perhaps you always buy Royal Gala apples. The next week, buy some Jazz apples. If you normally buy Satsumas, the next week, maybe you opt for blood oranges. So think about it really simply. Have a look what's in season and just think about how you can incorporate different foods into your diet to help diversify what you are eating. Now, why is it so important to diversify what we eat? Our gut microbes thrive off diversity, and our gut health plays a crucial role in influencing our female hormones. Our microbiome can influence the metabolism of our hormones, and imbalances in our gut can affect the breakdown and elimination of hormones like estrogen. Our microbiome also has an influence on our blood sugar, which has a knock-on effect on our hormones. And emerging research shows a connection between mental well-being and gut health. So remember, keep it small. If you buy parsley one week, switch it to rosemary the next week. If you're buying quinoa one week, switch to brown rice the next. Keep it simple. Micro habit number 5. Again, don't underestimate the impact of small changes. 10 minutes of movement a day. This can be incredibly powerful and support both mental and physical well-being. Exercise-wise, this can be varied based on where you are in your cycle. Perhaps you do more energetic movement in the first half of your cycle, and then you move on to more restorative exercise in the latter half. If you are no longer cycling, you just do what feels good for you. And why is movement so important? It supports insulin sensitivity. Doing 10 minutes of exercise post-meal can significantly minimize glucose spikes and support weight management. It's a powerful stress reducer and can reduce levels of cortisol, our stress hormone. It can stimulate endorphins, those feel-good hormones, and enhance circulation. It's important for maintaining bone density, particularly resistance and weight-bearing exercises, which is incredibly important post-menopause, and it can also help to improve our sleep quality. Now, when I'm saying 10 minutes, I don't mean you need to do 10 minutes of HIIT session or 10 minutes of Pilates. It can literally be as simple as dancing in your living room to 3 songs for 10 minutes. So try not to overthink this, but it can be incredibly powerful doing those 10 minutes, and it keeps you on that trajectory to wanting to do more movement. And finally, last but not least, micro habit number 6 is all about supporting sleep quality and getting into bed 5 minutes earlier each week. Now, the goal is to be asleep by 10 to 10:30 p.m. and I appreciate that might seem early for some people, but from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is a crucial time for restorative repair. This micro habit is centered around getting towards that goal in a really manageable way by bringing bedtime closer to that time by 5 minutes each week. Why is sleep so important? It is crucial for growth, it is crucial for cell repair, and it is crucial for our metabolism. Quality sleep maintains healthy cortisol levels to manage your stress. It helps influence insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for blood sugar regulation. It influences the regulation of appetite and satiety hormones, ghrelin and leptin. I don't know about you, but I know when I have a poor night's sleep, I am ravenous the next day and nothing seems to fill me up. And finally, sleep plays a huge role in regulating reproductive hormones, so can literally impact ovulation and fertility. So some sleep hygiene tips. Avoid heavy meals late at night. I see this also often in clinic, that people are eating late into the night and it's impacting their sleep quality. So try to avoid this as much as you can. It can also cause things like indigestion. Keep caffeine to a minimum and stop after midday. Enjoy a herbal tea in the evening. Perhaps you go for something like lavender or chamomile, which is really lovely and relaxing. Create a relaxing routine that works for you to help you unwind from your day. Keep your room cool and dark. Perhaps you opt for opening the window or using an eye mask, and avoid screens 1 hour before bed. So try to avoid scrolling in bed, and then have a hot bath prior to your sleep. These are basic tips, but they really work well to support sleep quality. And that concludes my snapshot into micro habits to support your hormones. I believe we are now on to questions. So over to you, Patrick.
Yes, thank you, Cara. That was fantastic.
There we go, stopping sharing my screen.
That was really fantastic, and I hope everybody found something valuable from your presentation there. We've heard a lot about the power of consistency and small habits, and it's definitely a theme that resonates with me. So we've received a number of questions over the last 20 minutes. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get through all of them, but we'll answer as many as we can. So let's dive straight into those. So a question from Ashleen is, what are the best foods to eat for calcium?
Yeah, great question. Apart from obviously dairy and fortified foods, there are great other sources of calcium. Canned sardines and canned wild salmon, so small fish with the bones, are an incredibly useful source of calcium, very high in calcium. Also, dark green leafy vegetables, tahini, or you could just use sesame seeds as well. All great sources of calcium.
That's great. A question from Olivia. So how do we increase fiber in the diet?
So what I would say is, if you're new to fiber, just go slow. Maybe start by switching up an afternoon snack for an apple and some almonds. Maybe add flaxseed to your morning porridge. You don't need to go gung-ho and, have 10 cups of broccoli to get you started. Definitely go slow, very gradual, and make sure you stay hydrated.
Just ease yourself in terms of if you're starting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people forget that there's loads of fiber in things like avocado, sweet potato, lots of root vegetables. There's loads of fiber in those. I think they always think, oh, I need to have green smoothies, but actually sometimes that can be quite harsh on the gut, and it's easier to just go in slow, but just use natural sources that are great sources of fiber that you wouldn't necessarily think, like avocado and potatoes. Just some basics, even berries.
Our next question then is from Rebecca, And she asked, what would you recommend for irregular cycles?
Yeah, so I did an Instagram post about this the other day. So my recommendations would be avoid skipping meals. So don't, skip breakfast and then wait until lunch. Make sure you're having 3 regular meals a day. Keep them balanced. So make sure you're having, protein, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber within each meal. Don't avoid carbs or avoid healthy fats. So no restrictive dieting, avoid fasted workouts, try not to have too much coffee on an empty stomach, prioritize sleep, and find ways of reducing your stress levels that work for you. So not everyone can, zone out and work with something like meditation. Find what works for you and that can help to reduce your stress levels. Well, it could be like going outside and having a walk in nature, or doing some gardening, or connecting with friends. I think people underestimate the power of social connection, and being with loved ones, and how that can reduce stress levels.
Yes, thanks for that. Siobhan asks, have you any suggestions diet-wise that can help with menopausal hot flushes, night sweats, etc.?
So I'd recommend avoiding alcohol, and some people react to caffeine too. Sage tea can be useful, and incorporate phytoestrogen-rich foods into the diet, like good quality fermented soy products, flaxseed, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds.
Thanks, Cara. And another one here, endometriosis. Any food tips to help with it?
Yeah, so what I would say is really try and optimize omega-3, so lots of oily fish. So that's things like salmon and mackerel, anchovies, sardines and herring and trout. So try and have these 3 times a week if you can. If you don't eat oily fish, then focus on things like walnuts, chia seeds, flaxseed. Avoid or reduce alcohol, processed foods, lots of sugar, and introduce lots of colour onto your plate for some lovely antioxidants. And you can also use herbs like turmeric and fresh ginger, which are really nice and anti-inflammatory. Ensure you're eating plenty of fibre to make sure that you're passing a stool daily, and cruciferous vegetables, so things like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, pak choi, rocket, all of those things are really supportive of liver detox pathways to ensure you're properly eliminating hormones. So I definitely ensure that you're having those on a weekly basis.
Okay, great. I have one final question. You covered off lots of different tips, but if there was one takeaway for our listeners to take away from today's session, what would it be?
I would prioritize making sure that your plate is balanced. So whether you want to focus on breakfast, or whether you want to focus on lunch or dinner, or even snacks, making sure that you are combining carbohydrates with protein, with healthy fats, with fiber, is so essential for supporting blood sugar. And I think I see it so often where people are just, on the go, grabbing a banana, and they might have had cereal for breakfast, and it has a knock-on effect on your hormones. So I would say, if you only do one thing, focus on that.
Great advice. Great advice. Thank you so much, Cara. You've shared a wealth of fantastic insights and actionable takeaways that I hope everybody will find beneficial. Keep an eye on our social media channels, and we'll address any other questions that come in over the next couple of days on our social channels. A huge thank you to you, Cara, for sharing your valuable knowledge and expertise today. For those who want to learn more, where are the best place to connect with you or find you, Cara?
They can come and follow me on Instagram at CRS Nutrition, or have a look at my website, which is www.crsnutrition.com.
That's great, and we'll share that as well on our own socials over the coming days. A big thank you to Digital24, our tech partner, for helping us run smoothly today. And a warm thank you to all of you for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here with us. You'll soon all receive an email with a recording of this webinar and a special 20% discount on all Linwoods products. And stay tuned to our social channels and our social media for updates of our next webinar and even more top tips and nutritional advice to help you feel your best every day. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Cara, for your time. It was great to have you with us. And I wish everybody a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks.